What up, boys? So welcome back to another video. So every single Monday we take a look at the mailbox and we see how much gold we've made with the current kind of event thing that we do right now. And right now I'm just on one mission, and that is to do 100 runs of every single dungeon to see how much loot we get. So naturally I get a lot of transmog. So we're cleaning out on the Studen mods, the transmog tune that I have, to see how much gold we have. We also started with the questions, like a kind of like a Q&A, where you guys just leave a question down below, and if you see someone with a question that you would also like to get an answer on, just upvote the other guy's comment, and then I'm going to pick out like a selected few questions every single Monday and answer them well, as good as I can. So first we're going to do the clean out. We're only going to mention items if they're worth mentioning. Like I see right off the bat 124 auction sold, which is not great. I'm actually slacking big time when it comes to undercuts, which we will have a question about in a bit. But undercutting is essential in terms of transmog farming, especially if you're playing a hype-up realm like me. Like, let's say that I make 500,000 gold now. I can easily make that into 1,000,000 simply by just dedicating more time into doing undercuts on the auction house. The reason why I'm not doing it is because I'm not really doing like a gold cap challenge right now. I'm just focusing on farming, so I want all my time to be focused on the current series that I'm doing, which is 100 runs. So it could take me easily 1 or 2 hours, at least more per day, if I were to focus more on undercutting. So I'd rather use like the 1 or 2 hours extra just on doing more farms. But right off the bat, I see a Destiny, which is a world drop in classic zones, selling for 103,000 gold, 109 then the auction house cut. So that is really, really good. Sold some replica items, really bad price. And a lot of people seem to think that I only sell high value items, but you guys can see that on this list. 200 gold, 100 gold, 120, 171, 32 gold. Like, there's so many bad items, because they add up to a decent amount of gold eventually. So more replica shit. We sold Norb of Deception. You don't go for that much. Like 19,000 gold for this one. Besides from that, it's just a bunch of minor transmog items. Nothing really worth mentioning on this clean out besides from those items. It's like a good mix of both crafted and farmed transmog. But right now I'm making the majority of the sales of like just farm transmog that has a high sell rate. That's easy to sell. Let me see. Glorious legs. For some reason, it just kind of refreshed by itself. But I also sold the glorious legs, 74,000 gold. I missed the days when the glorious legs used to be like 350,000 gold. Now they're 74,000 gold. They used to be down at like 40,000 gold though towards the end of Legion, because everyone was doing glorious and jade farming. So next clean out, 215,000 gold. Rage Steel breastplate stands out, which is a crafted item. Green Weave branch of the Fire Flash, which it's a farmed item, yeah. Sentry leggings, 43,000 gold. Really, really good. I farmed this one in the Windshare mine in Stone Talon. We have Time Worn Shadow gloves actually. 35,000 gold, farmed on the Island of Thunder. Really viable farm, extremely good. Selling some more crafted items like the Style and Jungle Ad and the Eviscerator's chest guard. But 250,000 gold. I did clean out my mailbox before I started the opening, so I could, well, it would be easier for me to see how much gold we would make on the entire clean out. But we're gonna be like 500 at least. If I compare this to BFA farming, I'm making less, but I'm having way more fun. 514 so far. So yeah, I don't mind these numbers at all. And I also have 2 more realms that I sell transmog on. And I have another bank tune on this realm where I sell off like battle pets and old materials that I've stockpiled and so on. Last clean out, 43,000 gold. Nothing worth mentioning. Farm transmog, some crafted like the Titan Shield, Titan Steel, Shield Wall. But we're gonna be at like 550,000 gold. That's more than last week. Still not where I would want to be at if I did focus on it. So if we decide to do like a gold cap series in some format, I wouldn't be pleased with 558,000 gold because my auction house is quite steady. So we're going to go through the questions. As I said, and I'm going to do my absolute best to answer them as well as I can. So question number 1, this one was really popular, and that is from Khalidwood TV. What would you say is the biggest mistake everyone makes when they start out their Goblin lifestyle? Since we're talking about everyone, there's a lot of different ways to answer this one. You can go into like details on people are like undercutting wrong. They're undercutting by more than 1 copper. I see a lot of people doing that. People get desperate. They just want to sell off the transmog. So they think that, let's say you have an item worth 20,000 golds on the auction house already, and you get desperate and you're like, oh shit, but I'm going to sell it for 15,000 gold and it might sell fast. No, it's not going to sell fast. It's just that the auction house is about if you're lucky enough to get that one guy looking for that one specific item that you have up. And if you have it up 9 out of 10 times, he's not going to bother, like, he's not going to care what he has to pay. If he has to pay 15,000 gold or the 20,000 gold. So the problem is usually never the price. So you should always undercut by 1 copper. Otherwise, you're just going to drag the price down. But like in general, the biggest mistake that I see on a daily basis is people getting bored of farming or bored of like gold making in general. And the biggest problem is that people tend to go for whatever seems to be the best, or seems to give the best result. So let's say that everyone is doing a BFA group farming to get BFA BOEs, right? So everyone jumps on that train and they want to do that farm because that is the best. But if you're fucking bored to death, you're not going to do it for a long time. So over like a long period of time, it's way better to just stick to the farming type, like the gold making type, or the farms that you enjoy, because you're gonna have fun to play the game, which is why we're all playing games, and you're gonna be able to do it for a longer period of time because you're not bored to death. So you're not gonna give up. Like if you do fun farms, maybe you can keep on doing it for like 5 hours a day. If you're doing a really boring farm, you might quit after like 25 because you're not getting shit and you're really fucking bored. So that's the biggest mistake that I see people do. Simply going after the popular farms that everyone seems to be doing. And there's nothing wrong with that because they're good for a reason, but you got to make sure that you're having fun doing it, because if you're not having fun doing it, there's no point in doing it because you won't be able to stick to it. Hope that makes sense. An example for me is BFA farms. 2x4 group farming is extremely good, extremely steady. And if I wanted to make the most gold that I could, I would sit here and do that farm right now. But I'm really bored of it. I'm bored out of my mind when I do it. So that's why I started the 100 runs of each dungeon farming transmo, because I think that's way more fun. So I can keep on doing it for a long period of time. So that is the biggest mistake that I see people doing. Question number 2. How do you undercut scan? Good one. Good one. I have a lot of opinions about this one. So if you guys have TSM, it's really simple. You guys just click one of your auctions and then you click cancel, and that's it. What you should do, however, is bind it to your mouse wheel. So like me, I can just scroll down and it's going to cancel all my auctions. And in order to do this, you have to, I have these macros right here. You have to go into your TSM and you have to go into, I think it's on settings. Yeah, settings and then macros, and then you just click these, scroll wheel, up, down, select what you want it to do, the same way that I post items. But it's simple as that. If you're using the default auction house, you're going to have a horrible time. You're going to have to manually click all of them, and you shouldn't do that. However, my personal opinion on undercut scan, like, unless you have a separate account that you just sit on the auction house and you constantly scan for undercuts, you shouldn't use the undercut if you play on a high pop. You should cancel all. Because after experience, if you post, let's say me, I have 1,600 auctions, right? So if I post these 1,600 auctions and then I wait like 3 hours, 4 hours, I can guarantee you that 80% of my auctions have been undercutted. So if I run an undercut scan, it's going to slow you down, because first it has to scan through every single auction, and then you have to scroll to cancel every single auction. So it takes you twice as long. But if you just do cancel all, because 80% is going to be undercutted anyways, you can simply do it once. Like just cancel all without scanning the items, and then you only have to scan the items when you want to put them on the auction house. So it's way faster. You shouldn't do it any other way. Like, some people might hate me for saying it. I know that some people only run undercut scans, but like it's all about time. It takes way more time to do an undercut scan. It is, of course, it's good if you have nothing else to do and you're just sitting home by yourself and you don't really mind running the undercut scan. Of course, you're gonna have that remaining 20% who aren't going to be undercut that you don't need to cancel and repost. But for most people like myself, it's way faster to skip the whole undercut scan, like scan through it all, and just whenever you have the time, cancel all and just repost absolutely everything. You guys can you can do some tests on it, like post all your items, wait like 5 to 6 hours, 4, doesn't matter, and then you run an undercut scan and you're going to see how much have been undercut already. Like, it will surprise you. It's insane. So that is how I do undercutting. I always talk about undercutting. That's how I do it. Last question for today from Werner OG. It's hard to sell in my realm at the moment, getting like 5 to 10 sales a week with 350-ish auctions. How many auctions do you have up in the auction house at all times? So as I told you guys, I have 1,641 auctions worth 13.3 million gold, which is slightly beneath what I want to have in value. I want to have 1 million gold for every 100 auctions. So this should be at 16 million. But when it comes to not selling your auctions, there can be so many things that causes it, right? Like, do you have enough auctions? 350 auctions is not enough. Not even on a hype up realm where there's like a lot of transmog selling. 350 auctions, it's not enough. On my hype up realm, I had to reach like 600, 650 to start getting some frequent sales. So first you got to build up your auction house with good transmog. It has no effect if you have 300 good items right now, and then, oh, Studen told me if I get 700, I'm going to sell fast, and you just pump it full of like shitty items that nobody wants. You got to go and watch my video called What to Put on the Auction House to see which kind of items you should throw in the auction house. Like, you need to take market value in consideration. You need to take sell rate in consideration when selling an item. And once that is figured out, like if you have an okay amount of auction house, which it varies from low pop to high pop, let's say 700 plus is good on some realms. If you play on low pop, you definitely need over 1,000. But once you have like a steady base of items, the only thing that's going to cause you to not sell transmog is if you're not the one with the cheapest auctions available at all times. So undercut. Get enough items, make sure that roughly 100 auctions is 1 million worth. So if you have 400 auctions, should be worth around 4 million. And then just do as many undercut scans as you can throughout the day. I know that some people, they only post their auctions for 12 hours and then they expire and they repost them and they don't do undercut scans. That's one way of doing it. It's all about how much time do you have to put on the auction house, right? So hopefully that will answer some of you guys' questions, and you probably have a ton more, and I'm gonna do my best to answer them all. So it's not like I'm saving all the questions until the video. If there's some easy questions that I can just reply to you on the YouTube comments, I will. So make sure you leave your questions down below, and I will do my best to answer them either in the comment section or in the video next Monday. Until then, bye bye.